So,
Dang.
hey, we're live. Look at us. Isn't that crazy?
This is a podcast divided. I'm Daniel, and I'm a Cubs fan.
And I'm Andy, and I'm still a Sox fan.
And this is a podcast divided after the intro.
Your Daily Cubs White Sox podcast, the best place for all the baseball debate you need.
And welcome to another podcast.
Yeah. I don't think I can do that today.
He's a little bit ill today.
Aside from under my name, but welcome everyone. Welcome Angels.
Hi there.
Yeah, we just posted. I just finished editing and I posted the new montage on Fort Boys. By the way, it came out really nice. And then obviously we're on the podcast now, so let's go. Huh?
No, actually, we're not on the podcast.
Where are we on?
We're on the moon.
Yeah. So I mean, first off, let's talk about the Cubs.
All right, here we go again.
And
always got to start with the Cubs.
The Cubs.
First.
And I mean, the Cubs have been good, but not only good, they've been great.
Really?
But here's the thing, right? There's no guarantee that we make the playoffs. There's a high probability that we do. But we have to keep getting the job done. As you play this good for so long, yeah, I'm still sick. As you play this much of games and you manage to get the job done so many times, I mean, you got to say, I mean, this has been awesome, but we got to keep this going if we want to win it all, or at least make some noise in the playoffs. I mean, what are you expecting from this team in the playoffs? I mean, this is kind of like 2015. We'll see how far it goes, and then next year we'll win it all. I mean, we can win it all this year like we could have in 2015, but no guarantees this year. We've got a good shot, but next year, I mean, it's for sure.
Yeah, then next year's the year, man. I'm definitely.
Well, this is the year, but if it's not this year, it's next year. And looking at the standings.
Sorry, my bad.
We're actually, for the first time, you're sick to it, Angels. For the first time, we're actually 10 games, and let me say this again, 10 games over 500, which is really good. We're 2 games up from San Francisco for the second, so we're in the second wild card spot, and we're actually almost in the first, which we have a good shot doing, and Philadelphia's been doing really good, but we've been doing better. We've had a plus 81 run differential, Philadelphia plus 73. So I mean, both have increased. We just started off higher slightly, and this is a very close race, obviously. But I mean, nice to see a lot of teams dropping out. It looks like. I mean, Miami doesn't look like they've got anything going for them after their last few games. I mean, 3-7. In their last 10, I mean, and they won their previous ones, so it might be 2-8 before that. And let's just say, Cincinnati, after we beat them today, if we can win this game 2 tonight, it's ending in 4 days. If we can win Rocky League season, I'm just reading the comments every now and then. But if we can win game 2 tonight, and then the Reds lose, I mean, if we win game 2 tonight, then the Reds might even be like almost out. I mean, the Reds have some hope. But is it enough hope to actually get the job done? I mean, Arizona's worse than San Francisco, but Arizona's also 1 game back. So I'm not going to say they're not going to make it, but I'm not going to say they're going to make it because I'd give the edge to San Francisco. And I'd say either Philly or the Cubs win the first wild card spot. And unless we drop down to the third and we get to play an easier team in Milwaukee, but I don't even care at this point because I know we'll get the job done in the playoffs, and we're going to have to beat everyone anyways. So, I mean, let's just start off with the Phillies. Why not? Get them out. Sweep them, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are definitely going to make the playoffs.
With me at Wrigley in the bleachers with my W flag.
You'll be wriggling the bleachers with the W flag. They'll honestly be useless. And speaking of useless, we have the White Sox. Yeah, just actually, Daniel, do you want to say some more stuff? Or wait, you're coughing right now.
I was coughing. Yeah. But I mean, my one more thing to say. Do you want to talk about the Sox first?
No, go ahead. I'd rather just do Cubs much, Sox much.
So we actually have had two things being done. Sadly, because we're better than some teams, we didn't get some of the players that were on waivers, but we got some guys that could give us quite a bit of help. And I mean, first off is a guy that Cubs signed was I'm trying to find the details about it.
What position?
He's a pitcher. It's not Hunter Green. It's another Green.
Another Green?
Shane Green. Shane
Green. Okay. Who is he?
A 34-year-old relief pitcher. But he used to be a starter. He just hasn't started for like 4 or 5 years. And in the Cubs minor league system, he's had a sub-3 ERA and has been pretty good. I mean, so if he can translate that to the MLB, I mean, that would be great. Also, a quick update on Jordan Wicks. He gets another win today, and he's been pitching amazing for the Cubs. I mean, called up and ever since, just awesome. I mean, he had a lot of hype, but sometimes you don't live up to the hype, and he sure has. So, and then also, we do call up a few guys that are going to make a big impact on us.
Oh, baby.
One of the guys is definitely a big guy, and it's Alexander Candelario. Alexander Canario, not Candelario.
Oh, I thought you said Candelario.
I did. It's so easy to get those mixed up after.
I love Canario. Like,
You?
I feel like he would have been a great fit with the Giants. But now, I still think he's a great prospect. But now I think he's not gonna do as good.
Do you think he's gonna be great?
No. I thought he'd be better on the Giants, in my opinion. Now that the Cubs got him, it's just another prospect for them to ruin.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
And, I think we're just two biased fans. Like, we are both so biased.
I mean, we are, but I mean, our teams. I mean, we both think our team is better, and the Cubs are obviously the better team. I mean, there's no question about it.
Yeah, I'm questioning it.
And what about
Mr. Blame Your Problems on a Goat 70 years ago? 8 years ago, really.
Do you think we're going to call up PCA?
I give it about a 50-50 chance. I mean,
big player.
Yeah,
or he could start.
He's a huge player. I think
he could start off with us next year. And
for sure.
I mean, who did we give up for him again? We literally gave up Baez, who's been horrible. I mean, his performance at the plate has been completely trashy. Like the Tigers might do better, like get more for their money if they don't have him on the team, and just pay him money versus having him on the team and then having to spend actual money for him to do bad versus just losing money.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like if someone has a negative WAR, you got to get rid of them.
I mean, at least on average. I mean, it's a stat that sometimes your replacement players can be worse than other times, but on average, almost for sure, yeah. And that's definitely true. But another thing that's true is that the Cubs are have made enough noise where they're contenders, and with PCA, like we were talking about, we've got a good shot at winning the World Series next year. I think we can do it this year, but next year for sure. Also, I just realized I never uploaded our thumbnail, so take over for a little bit at least.
All right, well, I guess I could talk about PCA. I would say that if one of the Cubs outfielders is doing considerably bad, maybe he'll get called up to the majors. But I doubt it for now. It's a 50-50 shot, like obviously even if an infielder or a utility player's not doing the best, you got to call up PCA just to get a feel for him on the Cubs, because obviously he's going to make a big impact in the MLB. I don't know about the Cubs. Hopefully they trade him for like $5 or something. But yeah,
Why?
I mean, why not? We're the
We're the
Cubs.
Cubs.
I know that's not something to be proud of.
Something to be very proud of if you're
No.
Welcome, Flo.
Hi there.
For chocolate.
But yeah, being a Cubs fan is not it's not a good thing, really. Like I don't know how you can choose to be a Cubs fan. It's like it's like choosing to go to Mexican jail, or
Really?
or Canadian jail,
Why?
or French jail, or any jail.
You don't like our team?
I mean, I don't understand why anyone would choose to be a fan of a team that lets them down, and then it's like the Cubs fans have the shortest memory of all time. It's like this is the year. They proceed to choke the whole season. Well, there's always next year. And next year, this is the year. It's a repeating cycle that'll go on for as long as time shall stand.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's awesome, though, because of how good we are. And this is actually the year, finally. So, I mean...
Yeah, it is the year. After all these years,
Rejoice in
this
these
year
Cubs.
is actually going to be the year.
Rejoice in these Cubs. Let's go. Let's sweep the Reds today.
Oh yeah,
We won game
we're
1.
gonna
Let's
sweep
win
the Reds.
game 2.
They're gonna make the playoffs. They're not even gonna be a wild card team. Why not just win the division? And then they're gonna sweep everyone, and then they're gonna win the World Series. And then you know what they're gonna do next year? They're gonna win the World Series. And the year after that, and the year after that, there will be no. And then the Cubs every single year will go 162-0, and then sweep everyone in the playoffs for the rest of eternity. How does that sound?
Awesome.
Do you think that'll happen?
Sure.
No.
I mean, we're good enough.
No, you're not. No one is good enough. I don't care if you put 5,000 Shohei Otanis and Babe Ruths and Barry Bondses on one team. You will not achieve 162-0.
I think we will.
No, you will not.
I mean, we're good enough.
No.
I mean, there's no one better than us.
Daniel, there are a myriad of teams that are better than you.
You think?
Yes. No, I don't think. I know.
You know?
Yes, the Cubs.
I guess you know we're on.
Okay.
Because we're actually.
Well, let's go over record. What do you say about that?
What do you mean record? We're having an amazing season.
Yeah,
we're
but
one
it's
of the
not
best
in
teams
the
in the
league.
We have the second best run differential in the National League.
Run differential matters less than record.
Yeah, but our record's been 11th.
It's only 10 games over 500, Daniel. Teams that are not in the playoffs, like Boston and Toronto, have a better record. And you guys are lucky to be to not only be in the National League, but in a horrible division.
I mean, the National League doesn't guarantee a bad division. There are a ton of bad National League teams. I mean, but there are a ton of great ones too. I mean, NL East.
Yeah, NL East. But
what are you gonna say about that?
You know who should be good right now? You know who should be taking your place as a wild card team? The Mets. You know who else? The Padres. All these teams should be doing so much better than what they are, and they're disappointing just like the White Sox.
I don't know about that one. And let's move on to the White Sox for a little bit, at least.
All right. Well, obviously, I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If I have anything more to say, then I'll say about the Cubs. But right now, yeah, let's transition to the Sox.
All right, let's transition to the best team ever. So I don't really want to talk about record. That's kind of like arbitrary and like not really like useful for us at this point in time because it's obviously not good. We're not going to make the playoffs. We're not contenders at this moment. And we did hire a new general manager, Chris Getz, I'm not excited about because he is the sole reason why all of our prospects flopped. But it's okay, I guess, because he was the farm director before he became general manager, and he did not do a good job at all. He did not raise really any good players besides Luis Robert Jr. But that's only because he has raw talent that can't be trained. So yeah, Chris Getz, just not a good farm director. He claims to know more about the Sox than anyone else, which is already an egotistical way to start off a job, really. But honestly, you can't really judge someone until they make a legit bad move or a legit bad trade or a legit bad signing, or even multiple of those things. So yeah, I mean, Chris Getz, he might be the best general manager that the Sox have seen in decades, but at the same time, that's most likely not going to happen. A lot of people are sick here.
That's great.
And actually make that 4. I'm sick of the White Sox.
I mean, how can you not be when your team is that bad?
Yeah, I know. Like,
Makes me so happy to say that. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I know it makes you that happy. But the worst part is that there is literally zero light at the end of the tunnel. At least we had hope when Jerry fired the GMs, but now we're stuck with this guy who most likely will not be a good GM for another long time until Jerry sells the team at the age of 502, and maybe we can get like a 5% chance of getting an actual good a good owner who will hire a good GM and a good farm director and a good assistant GM and a good coach and get some good players. But that remains to be seen, and it won't happen for probably a long time. Chris Getz also claims that the team will be better next year, but I have my doubts on that, obviously. But here's another piece of news. The White Sox could be moving to Soldier Field. Now, most of us know that the lease for Comiskey Park right now ends in 6 years, and now is naturally the time for management to discuss, hey, should we renew our contract? Should we stay here, or should we move somewhere else? But they've narrowed it down really in Chicago to 3 areas now. And it's surprising to me. Well, it's not that surprising, but it's intriguing to me that none of these areas are anywhere near where Comiskey is now. So Comiskey, like, its location right now is completely out of the picture, in my opinion. Like, obviously it might happen, but I doubt it. But here are the 3 areas that they are considering. Arlington Heights, if the Bears fail to get a stadium there, which I don't like. I don't think the Sox are built for the suburbs because obviously there are more Cubs fans in the suburbs, and Arlington Heights is indeed on the north side. So I don't really like that option. That's probably my least favorite of the options, even though they can probably build a whole ballpark village there, but I still don't think it's a good option. The next option is right next to the United Center. Now, obviously, they're going to need to buy some land close to the United Center. Daniel, do you know where that is?
Yes, I do know about the United Center. It's the Blackhawks and the Bulls Stadium, right?
Yeah, and it's pretty close to downtown, but
I don't know where it is. I know what it is.
Yeah,
I guess that's why.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I want to go there one day, definitely.
Oh, for
a
sure,
Blackhawks game, preferably though, because I'm not a basketball fan.
Yeah, I prefer hockey to basketball too, but
Awesome.
here's a problem with the moving next to the United Center. There's really no good transportation options there because first of all, you leave the United Center, like go a few blocks, dangerous neighborhood. Second of all, there's no L stops by the United Center either. So, well, I guess there's one kind of close, but it's not like the situation we have now where you could like the L stop is literally right next to the field. Same with Wrigley.
Yeah, Wrigley's awesome, even transportation-wise.
Yeah, same with us, Daniel.
When they found the stadium for Wrigley back in the day, 1900s or like 19 before 1910. I mean, the Chicago Whales played there, and they chose that area of land just because one of the main reasons was because of the perfect public transportation. And obviously it's evolved over the years, and the neighborhood's become a lot safer, and it's become a lot more expensive as it's been marketed as Wrigleyville, which is a great marketing strategy just because it's like before it was just like in this neighborhood the Cubs are in, and now it's like they're in Wrigleyville. So if you want to buy a house there, it's like Wrigleyville House, and it's like just because of that name and the location, it's gonna be way more just because of the area. So, but anyways, continue about the White Sox.
All right.
Cubs already.
So yeah, I think the United Center wouldn't be a bad option. It just wouldn't be a great one. Now, also the White Sox would have to really like pull off a Philadelphia / Kansas City / Arlington, Texas kind of.
Hey, what do you mean about the United Center?
Yeah. I'm still talking about the United Center.
It's indoor.
No. I'm not talking about in the United Center. Like I'm saying, buy a plot of land right next to the United Center.
I was gonna say, how are they gonna play baseball indoors in an arena? Literally, gosh. And also, the Soldier Field will be a interesting option, but I mean, with the Bears leaving Soldier Field soon, I don't even know if it's a good long-term option.
It actually is, and that brings me to my third point. Soldier Field, which I honestly think is the best option because one, it's an outdoor field that it's a beautiful venue that needs obviously to be renovated to be suitable for a baseball field, but I think it has a very good foundation with a very Romanesque kind of like facade, you can say. But a lot of people say that when the Bears made the renovations in, I believe, 2001, that it literally looks like they put a spaceship on top of the Coliseum. So I think that they obviously need to take down the spaceship because one, it's not the best looking, and two, it's not going to be suitable for a baseball field because it's an oval, it's made for football.
So why are you
yeah, they're going to
need such a great option. What are the pluses, I guess?
The pluses is that, okay, it's a great location because it's in the city, like it's in downtown technically, but it's also still in the near south side. So you can still keep the south side, what's the word, like material, like brand, I guess? Yeah, brand.
South side.
Yeah, so you can still keep that brand while being in a more safe neighborhood closer to downtown and not have to worry about shootings as much like last Sunday, I believe.
That's yeah.
And also the Sox are in need of a like better ballpark, and Soldiers definitely has the potential for a great ballpark. It has the space for it. It has parking lots. Obviously, it's really hard to get in and out of Soldier Field, but with half the fans, because normally baseball fields they attract maybe 30,000 fans, especially with a lower market team like the White Sox. It's not even lower market; it's more mid market. But yeah, I'd say the average game on an average season would be like 30,000 fans. And normally with Bears, it's like 60,000 fans. So obviously it's going to be a lot easier to get in and out of Soldier Field. And also it's right by the lake. It's at a park. It's at a really, like the land value there is really good. So and imagine the view of the city while you're just sitting in the ballpark. It's going to be an amazing venue if we can pull it off.
I'm kind of like skeptical, to be honest, because Soldier Field is kind of deteriorating. Not gonna lie.
Well, yeah, obviously you need some crazy renovations. Like Wrigley at one time was deteriorating, and then they renovated it. And now it's considered one of the best ballparks in the MLB.
But I mean, is it really worth it to spend on like maybe even as much money as it would cost to build a new stadium to renovate Soldier Field? And I mean, when you bring up Wrigley, one of the main reasons why Wrigley was renovated was because literally that it's literally Wrigley Field. If it wasn't Wrigley Field, then it would not be renovated. It's just so important for Cubs fans to have Wrigley Field that they decide to spend tons of money just to renovate it. And it was a good decision, but the White Sox are not in a situation where they have a amazing ballpark that's just starting to become bad. We're talking about going to a new ballpark. Well, it's not even a ballpark yet, but I mean, I don't know. It almost just seems like an option that probably won't amount to much.
Okay, I would have to disagree with you on that because I think overall renovating a field that's already pretty well kept would be easier and less expensive than just building a new venue in a new area overall, buying all that land, tearing it down, and then building a new, like just tearing it completely down and then building a new ballpark. And Key, to answer your question, I highly doubt it because the White Sox are actually in this situation back in the 90s. So old Comiskey Park did have those pinwheel lollipop things, and it was so iconic to the team that they had to destroy Comiskey Park. But then when they built new Comiskey Park, they kept the pinwheels. So that's an iconic piece to the White Sox, and I don't think it's going anywhere, no matter where they move.
Interesting take.
Yep.
Excuse me.
So,
But I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. The Cubs are in a position, and the White Sox are in a position. Both teams are in different positions on the timeline of going from bad to World Series. The Cubs have been bad for a long time. Actually, it's not even been that long. It's just felt like that long. I mean, 2021 and 2022 were the only 2 years we weren't good. Before that, I'm saying this backwards. 2020 won the division. 2019 either made it to the wild card or almost. In 2018, we got to 163 and we could have won the division, but because we tied with the Brewers and then they won, we went to the wild card, but still playoffs. And then 17 NLCS, 16 win the World Series, 15 NLCS. I mean, that was a long run. And if you're going to, think about it this way: 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's 6 years. Every year we're in the playoffs. I mean, if we're going to have to give 2 bad years for 6 years in the playoffs, then that's not bad. I mean, like that's a pretty good ratio. So, I mean, you can also make the case that we weren't in a complete rebuild because, I mean, we had some talent that just never panned out.
yeah.
Like, for example, Bryant, Baez, Rizzo were all guys who underperformed in 2021. I mean, we didn't have enough guys. Like, even the guys who were doing good, it just made us get better prospects because we had good players. Nothing really worked for us those years, but I mean, think of it this way, right? I mean, if we're good for 6 years, this is only year one. So 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. We're going to be good contending until 2029. Contending.
Yeah, contending. Sure, Daniel.
We are contenders. I mean, even on MLB Network and on, I was watching a show and they were called the Cubs Contenders. Same on the Cubs game.
What?
Same on the Cubs game today. They are contenders. What do you mean, what?
I thought that the show was called Cubs Contenders. My bad.
Oh. No. They are contenders. It's just.
That's very unfortunate. I wish that would never happen.
But we're actually, like, making the best out of a situation where we can win, but we actually are winning. And it's almost like we're in shock.
I'm in shock.
Good. But, most people did not expect this. I thought there was a chance this would happen But I mean, to see it happen and to see the Cubs keep winning these, like even close games. I mean, we in the last 2 years we lost so many one-run games, and even not one-run games, games that we blowed. Like we should have won, and we didn't win. We couldn't get the job done in the clutch. You know, it's a
Mm-hmm.
big thing about baseball, winning in the clutch. Sure, you're gonna have the blowouts both ways, but when you're in a game that both teams have a good shot at winning, it's really down to who performs it when it matters most, and so that's what we've been doing, and that's what I hope we can do. So, what's the White Sox schedule looking forward, and then we'll talk about the Cubs one.
The White Sox schedule doesn't even really matter. The White Sox schedule. Well, I guess we could see.
Go
Okay, the
ahead,
White
talk
Sox.
about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So the White Sox they play the Tigers starting today at 7:10. It's a 3-game series. Then the Royals they go back. They go back to Detroit. The Royals again, the Twins, and then the Nationals. Then the Red Sox, Diamondbacks, and then the Padres. So really an easy end to the season, but it doesn't even matter anymore.
You don't think?
Not at all. What's the point? Honestly, the White Sox schedule, I'm honestly more concerned about the other teams than the White Sox.
What about your guys' prospect system?
What prospect system? We don't have one of those. It's crazy.
That's
Yeah, I mean, I guess Colson Montgomery's good. Edgar Cuero is going to be a good catcher for us. I believe he hit switch, so I'm very happy about that. Colson Montgomery is a lefty. He's a big power hitter. I like him. I like Zach Eater, who we traded for Berger.
ear with a heater.
Eater with the heater. Yeah, he's gonna be good. But yeah, definitely not enough prospects to build around. No prospects that are like game breaking. Not enough good prospects to really contend. So yeah, it's gonna be a long stretch of years. Um, of collecting good prospects. Hopefully, if GM Chris gets knows what he's doing and doesn't. Okay, because he said that we would be better next year. But if we try and be better with an already broken team, then there's literally going to be no point because we saw this happen with so many teams that are bad, teams that just don't click, and then the GM's like, "Yeah, we'll be better next year. We'll get all these free agents. We'll sign all these people." And then what happens? They're just as bad, if not worse. So I hope that Chris gets will just do a quick rebuild, not 12 years like last time, and we can we can really make the most of little time that we have before Sox fans retaliate and go to Wrigley, which is already happening. Like I see so many comments on White Sox YouTube videos that say I'm officially done with this team. I'm officially done with being a fan of this team. Goodbye. Like that's really sad to see. Even someone that I know is like I'm done with this team. Like
Good job.
yeah, I mean obviously honestly I think that's both of their faults because one the White Sox they're basically telling the fans to go elsewhere, and two, the fans aren't loyal anymore. Like obviously there are some great White Sox fans that'll stay loyal to their team no matter what happens, but there's some other fans that just they've had enough, and I'll obviously never have enough, no matter what they do to me. I'll always be a fan of this team, but um, they really gotta do a fast rebuild and make the most of little time they have before fans start flocking to Wrigleyville or to wherever they want to be fans of,
I
which is
mean,
going to be bandwagon teams
I
with big
mean,
budgets.
even if even if you stay as a White Sox fan, who says that people don't become Chicago fans and say I'll root for the Cubs this year? And I'm still a White Sox fan, but the Cubs are the team that's doing good, so go Cubs this
Yeah,
year.
and also that was
The
not
White
Daniel
Sox are
being
good.
stuffy. That was Daniel doing an impression.
Yeah, I'm not that sick. Well, I don't know. Maybe I am. I don't sound like that right now. And I mean, Cubs game is actually in the top of the first.
Yeah, cool.
However, we're probably not going to do a watch party, or at least we'll eat dinner before we do a watch party.
Yeah.
We might. I don't know if you're available. I have nothing to do, obviously. So
I don't think I have much to do. I might. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see after we eat how we feel.
Yeah.
But about the Cubs schedule, I guess if you're done talking about the Sox, you squeezed as much as you could out of them.
Yep.
I guess you could say. But talking about this Cubs schedule, you're looking at some big games, and they've been winning the big games. So I mean, I'm not as scared. But is there a watch party later? Potentially, there's a chance. At least 50%. I mean, I might even do it by myself if Andy's gone, just because like. Seriously, I'm gonna watch the Cubs game anyways. I'm either gonna like build this Lego set I got for my birthday that's like really big, and I was working on it last night because I was bored, or just sleep, or read my Cubs book. But I'm gonna be watching the Cubs game anyway. So, anyways, about this Cubs schedule, obviously tonight, game 2 of the doubleheader, mid first, 0-0, and
Mhm.
then you've got 2 more against the Reds. So it's going to be a 4-game series. And we won the first one. So we're not getting swept. And we can actually sweep. But I think we're winning at least two out of 4. We've got a good chance of winning 3 out of 4. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we swept them. But I'd say my best bet is 3 out of 4 just because they're the Reds. And they're going to probably get at least one win because they're at least a team that has enough they're good enough where they can actually compete with us. Can they compete enough where we're scared and we lose a ton? I don't know, but let's just say I'm good with what's going on right now, at least with the Cubs. And I mean, after that, you're looking at Giants, who are currently in the 3rd wild card spot. Now, remember that can change depending on whether the Giants win these next few games. So, like these next 3, if you include tonight, and the Cubs lose the next 3, for example, Giants would take their spot. But once we play them, I mean, we could theoretically kick them out of the race a lot. Like if they lose a few games and we sweep them too, I mean, they could dig themselves in a pretty deep hole. And then we're looking at 4 against the Diamondbacks, which are games that they're worse than the Giants, but they're still in contention for a wild card spot. Therefore, we have to win at least 2 out of 4 against them, preferably 3 out of 4. And then Pirates for 3 should be easy wins. I'd say we should sweep them. Followed 3 games against the Rockies. I mean, to be honest, my key, and I know this probably sounds kind of more. Probably doesn't make as much sense. That's how I'll put this. But the 2 most important series of the Cubs remaining are the Pirates and the Rockies back to back, because that's 6 games and we should win all of them. If we sweep both teams, we're in the playoffs, I think. After that, we've got the Braves, and then 3 against the Braves, 3 against the Brewers. And to be honest about the Braves, I mean, if the way it's looking like right now, we'll probably not have to win that much against the Braves, but there is a world where we have to win at least 2 out of 3 against them to make the playoffs. But we'll probably only have to win 1 out of 3 to hang in there. But we won 2 out of 3 already, so if we win 1 out of 3 now, we'll be split with them on the season, which is pretty good considering how good they are. And then three against the Brewers, who we won 2 out of 3 against before the Reds series and 2 days ago. And I mean, we'll have to see about how the Brewers go down the stretch. But just like the Cubs, I mean, the reason why the Cubs, even though they've been playing good, haven't gained too much ground in the division on the Brewers is because the Brewers have been amazing. And it's bound to start ending just like how the Cubs won 2 out of 3. And I mean, let's look up at the Brewers' last few games because I don't even know what's been going on with them. They're playing the Phillies now. They haven't played since the Cubs game, so 8:10 tonight. After the Cubs game, I might tune in on that on MLB Network. I mean, big game there. And look, if you look at the Brewers, 3 against the Phillies, which will be hard. And actually, though, I might be rooting for the Brewers in that series because if we can, because we're playing against a way worse team. So if the Brewers can win that series against the Phillies, I mean, we might be in the first wild card spot. There's a world where that is possible, really possible. A few things have to go right, but and then you've got 3 against the Pirates, easy wins, or at least they should be. 3 against the Yankees. Yankees will fight, but they won't be. They'll be beatable, I think. Then 4 against the Marlins. Marlins have been doing bad, but they have hung in there this whole season, and now even though they've been not doing so good, they're still in there. So it's possible that the Brewers get beat. Nationals 3 should be wins for the Brewers. Then Cardinals for 4 should be wins for the Brewers. I mean, you got the Marlins again, then the Cardinals, and the Cubs. I mean, not gonna lie, the Cubs might have a better chance at the wild card at this point. Because looking at Milwaukee's schedule, they're really gonna have to play horribly if they lose the division to the Cubs. I mean, although to be honest, the way it's looking right now, we're 2.5 games back, right? If we go in 2.5 games back in the division into the last series of the season, if we sweep the Brewers, we get first place in the division. I mean,
Yeah.
and if we just gain 1 game, it'll be even easier. I mean, there's a lot of scenarios that can happen, and that's why baseball is so fun down the stretch because, I mean, even when the Cubs aren't good, I mean, just following it, like, a ton of things can happen, but only one team will eventually prevail, and only 15 out of 30 teams, or 16, I guess, will make the playoffs, and then slowly but surely teams will lose that people thought they would win. Sometimes teams will dominate when they're supposed to be good, but nothing's for sure as you go down the stretch here and into the playoffs. So it's definitely.
I hope the Cubs lose.
You think?
I hope.
You hope? Well,
Yeah.
all you can do is hope, I guess, because the
That's
Cubs
true.
are looking pretty good.
Hey.
Phillies have a really hard schedule, by the way. 2 series against the Braves, and then they've got some bad teams mixed in. But I mean, just because of the Braves, I mean, they've got some all right teams. And then they've got 2 series against the Braves, and they've got a few bad teams. So they might be able to beat the Cubs, but they'll definitely have some pressure on them during the Braves series. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you have anything else to say?
No.
Or see you guys on the watch party potentially?
Yeah, potentially. I don't know if I can make it. I might be able to.
Sounds good. Well, I guess thank you guys for watching.
Yep.
Please like, subscribe, share the channel, the podcast with everyone you know. Until next time, see you later and stay frosty.
And go White Sox.
Go Cubs.
White Sox.
Go Cubs.
White
Go
Sox.
Cubs.
White Sox.